Did you say something that was very final to your partner in the heat of an argument? Are you regretting acting so hastily now? Sometimes when we overreact in this manner, it's due to old wounds that haven't been repaired. Whenever you have a trivial argument with your partner, it should be able to be addressed and discussed in a reciprocated manner. Being defensive and getting angry because you don't like something that's happening at that particular time is not going to help your relationship. You're going to start saying things more and more that are hurtful, and there's no coming back from that sometimes. This reactive situation can also come from poor communication skills. You and your partner just don't know how to talk openly to each other, so every time there's something that transpires that needs to be discussed, it turns into a reactive argument. And eventually what happens is people just end up walking away too. If they're not yelling at their partner or being upset about what happened, they're walking out of the room with silence. This is just as bad sometimes because you are not taking time to sit down and have a constructive conversation. If you are continually overreacting to your partner, you need to get to the bottom of what is triggering you to behave like this. Because after a while, your partner's going to shut down, or you're going to shut down, and there's not going to be any communication at all. This is why I've always talked about really hearing what your partner says. If you can take a 10-second delay when they're saying something to you that you don't like, and ask them to repeat it or tell them what you heard after that 10-second delay, it will de-escalate it from getting really heated because you're slowing down the reactionary time. And this is really important if you are kind of hot-headed sometimes, or you look at everybody as if they're attacking you. It's not necessarily an attack, it's just something you don't like that they're saying to you, and it causes you to get heated. If you're having a repetitive conversation about something you don't really want to talk about, you need to get to the bottom of it and find a way that you can communicate this to each other so that it doesn't turn into an argument every time. If you are generally overreactive with any time there's something that needs to be discussed in your relationship, it bothers your partner because they don't even want to bring anything up anymore because this is how you always react. Or if you don't react and you walk out of the room and don't say anything, that's just as hurtful. And each time this happens, it shuts down your partner even more. All it's going to do is keep rearing its head every single time because you're not resolving the conflict of the argument. It's really worth figuring out because there's no way you go through life in a long, committed relationship without having an argument. If there's old wounds, find out what they are. Maybe you had a relationship in the past where your partner picked fights with you all the time and it made you defensive, and now you feel it's happening again. You don't want to repeat bad habits and patterns from your past. So get to the bottom of what it is. What is making you react in a defensive manner? Sit down with your partner and discuss what sets you off. What makes you the maddest about certain arguments or certain scenarios that happen in your relationship? Is there something that you can both compromise on? If you feel that you've gone too far and you've said things that you can't take back in your relationship, you may not be able to fix it. But it's always worth trying to see if you can get to the bottom of why it happened. Apologize to your partner and ask them to give you another chance and work through it together as a couple. You may have to go to counseling and figure this out yourself, because if your partner feels that you don't really want help or support, they're going to be at a loss of what to do to help you. So if you really are upset about how you handled it, you feel bad about what you did, take the time to ask your partner to sit down and talk to you. It might be too late if this is a repetitive pattern for you, but it's always worth trying to change yourself to be the better version of who you are. Nobody wants to be angry. Nobody wants to be reactive to their partner. It's not something that makes you feel good about yourself. You love this person, so it's definitely worth trying to understand what is going on here. The goal here is to become aware of how your emotions are affecting your relationship. If you're becoming overreactive to many things that are going on, there is something that is disconnected between the both of you. Sometimes it's just not a good fit and you just don't blend well as a couple. But sometimes it's also things that you have never dealt with or you've put on the back burner. If you're sharing your life with somebody in a committed relationship, it's worth everything to get to understand yourself better. You will have to start practicing how to talk about things without exploding. It's going to be a learning curve for sure, and you probably will need some guidance, some counseling to help you through this. But it's worth it. If you're in a loving partnership for the most part, it's worth fixing what's going on here. Also understand that it will take time to repair this. But the fact that you are now aware of it and you're understanding that you do have this type of nature that reacts very quickly to things, you will have to understand how to slow it down so that you take time before you respond to certain things in your relationship. I'm not saying to walk away and ignore it. I'm saying to take a few seconds, take a deep breath, tell your partner what you heard them say, and then ask them to repeat back what you just said to them. Sometimes we hear something different. We hear a defensive tone in our partner when it's really us that's defensive. Thank you so much for tuning into Dear Sybersue today. Please click like on the video and subscribe. Thank you so much. Bye.